I already discussed this story and repeat some of the things that I had actually talked about on the news and why it matters today. But man, this story right here is certainly, I mean, interesting isn't really the term that I would use to describe what exactly is going on here, but it really does show the fundamental problem with how race, really anything for that matter, race just happens to be this subject, but you can apply it to a multitude of different things, and how the dialogue is just largely nonsensical. You probably have already heard of this story, but I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys context. I'm not sure why this is that size. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I was saying, in this story, it was first like a lot of different media figures, non-media figures, blue checks, had ran with this narrative because of this video that was being shown. They ran with this narrative that, well, this person, this lady right here, was trying to steal a bike from these like group of like young black men. Okay, and obviously that was not the case. Or let's say this: there was more to the story. It didn't stop people from covering it in the way that they did, which is really the point in the video that I'm making today. But I just want to give you guys the update, and that is that Insider, the lawyer, she lawyered up, and the lawyer of this woman showed the receipts that she actually paid for that that bike. Yeah, and this is in New York City. Woman accused of trying to take a rental bike from a black man paid for the bike. The attorney provided city bike receipts to Insider, saying that it proved it was her bike to take. The video of the incident drew millions of views online, as some condemned her reaction as racist. And that's really the point it is that I want to drive home. So this is what happened, as with many things happen. When you see two individuals or groups of individuals and there's an altercation in an interaction, it's quickly deemed as it's about the race of the people that are involved. And it doesn't matter what it is. This is just how, unfortunately, a lot of people's brains have been wired now as they deal with these different issues. And that your first instinct is to say, well, this happened because it was some level of racism. The reason the person did it had to do with the fact that the other folks were race on the other side of the conflict and confrontation. And it's like, you pick that up from what? Because if you watch this video, there's nothing, like, even let's assume that everything as it was originally presented was correct. Okay. And there was no other added context. There's no receipts or anything. There's no law. Just say that you accepted the word, not like, let's not say accepting the word. Let's say that the word of, as people originally reported, was true. Okay. That still wouldn't mean that it was because she was racist, right? It's just, you have a white woman and the guy that's in the deal is black. Does not mean that, well, conflict happened because it was racial motivations. Like this, where did this come from? That people can't have like conflicts, even like legitimate actual confrontation, disagreements. And they be of like different races, and it be because of something completely unrelated to that. Well, narratives is what drives the country. Narratives drives the West right now. So if anybody that has their own thoughts and views and how they think that the world is supposed to operate, everybody's itching to try to cling to what story validates what they believe or what it is that they say. And when you're constantly chasing that, well, you can't be objective. You can't analyze situations with any sort of objectivity. And that's what's happened now. Race hustlers go do what race hustlers do. They need these narratives to be true. So they saw this immediately and they were like, oh, there can't be more to the story. Black guy, white woman, has to be racism. And now the lawyers are saying that they're about to start going after people for defamation because, yeah, she was put on leave by the hospital that she worked with. She was labeled as white supremacist, racist, and all this other nonsense. Like I said, even if the original story was true as it was, does not mean that there's some level of racism. It certainly doesn't mean she's a white supremacist. it ain't nothing wrong with looking at a story and just letting it develop. If anything, you should have learned by now, especially coming from these journals. They're not journalists in the traditional historical sense. They're activists. And everybody has their own individual motivations. And it's not to simply get the truth out. So now, being presented with this information, you, as the person that is getting this news story or whatever it is, you have to take that into consideration instead of just automatically accepting everybody's word for it. If you enjoyed this video and want to support other content, please become a member at ericdjuly.com. This is my own unique platform that replaced my Patreon. Our Ultramax, which is our highest tier, gets free shipping domestically even with Rippaverse orders, and are able to redeem the Creators Edition copy of ISOM #1. You can move up and down tiers or cancel at any time. Also visit Rippaverse.com. This is my comic book company that launched a $3.7 million campaign. We appreciate your support.